All right, let's look at our table saw. Let's look at the parts of the table saw. Letter A here we have is the table, most important part, the flat surface we set everything on. Letter B is our guard. That's the cover over the blade protecting us. Letter C is the fence, the vertical structure that helps guide our piece of wood, makes it safe. Letter D is our splitter, or sometimes called a riving knife, depending on the style. I'm getting extra letters. Letter E is our blade tilt hand wheel. The blade tilt hand wheel is always on the side, be it the left side or the right side. Letter F is our blade height hand wheel. This is always on the front of the saw. We'll raise and lower the height of the blade so we can adjust it to our various thicknesses of wood. Letter G is our power switch. And letter H is our actual blade, what makes it a saw. All right, so now let's look parts and adjustments. Keeping the plastic guard over the blade will keep your fingers safe. The fence is used to guide boards when ripping. The splitter, or like I said, riving knife, helps to keep boards against the fence and helps prevent kickbacks. A push stick is a device used to push narrow pieces through the machine. The hand wheel, number 5 here, the hand wheel to raise the blade is located on the front. The hand wheel to tilt the blade is on the side. We shouldn't really be ever messing with the tilt. We always want to, or much more often adjusting the height of the blade. Very rarely are we adjusting the angle. The blade should be raised to about 1/8 of an inch above your wood. We don't want it so high up that there's a lot of blade exposed to us, increasing our chance of injury. Also, the saw blade doesn't cut as efficiently if it's very high because less teeth will actually be in contact with the wood at the same time. Down to some general information, some reminders from the previous. Cutting with the grain is called ripping, and that is the primary purpose of our table saw. There are some specialty things you can do to do other types of cutting, but our primary purpose is ripping with the fence. Sometimes it'll even be called the rip fence because that's what you're doing with it. Cutting across the grain is called cross cutting. And the blade kerf, remember that's how wide the actual blade is 1/8 of an inch. That's the material that gets chewed up and turned into sawdust. And that's 1/8 of an inch wide. Can you make a pair of 3-inch wide boards from a 6-inch wide board? No, because you lose 1/8 of an inch to the blade kerf. It is going to chew up that material, leaving us with less. We can't split it exactly in half. Now, if we lost that 1/8 of an inch of material from our 6 inches in total, we think about that. If we cut it one time, the closest we could get is 2 15/16 of an inch wide. All right, to provide safe and accurate cuts, your wood should have one smooth edge. Okay, the edge of it needs to be smooth, not rough and not straight or anything like that. It's important we have a smooth edge. If we need to go to the jointer to do that, we do. But we need to have a smooth, flat edge to prevent any kickbacks or anything like that. Safety guidelines: letting go of a board that is still being cut will cause a kickback. It's a common theme here. If you let go of it, the blade's going to take control and kick it back at you. Be sure to stand to the side, mainly the left side of the saw blade when cutting. And of course, wood dust and chips will fly out from the saw. Be sure to wear safety glasses. Number 16 down here. As a bystander, the worst place to stand is behind the saw. Because if anything goes wrong with the saw, anything doesn't cut right and it leads to a kickback, that piece of wood is going to be sent back behind the saw at a very high rate of speed. If you're just standing around there waiting, it is going to hit you and hurt. So stand not behind it. Sawing through knots can be dangerous because knots may explode. Before ripping a board, be sure the splitter is behind the blade and the plastic guard is over the blade. Allowing the board to drift away from the fence will cause a kick back. That's what happened in some of those videos. It pulled away from the fence, putting pressure on the blade, and the blade grabbed it and kicked it back. A push stick should only be used on pieces narrower than 4 inches. All right, make sure you have a good understanding of these questions, statements about table saws and safety and cutting for our upcoming test.